So I'm going to show you how to cook a traditional carbonara. And the traditional carbonara uses very few ingredients and it's creamy without using cream. So it's a bit healthier than some of the creamy versions that I know that we all love in this country. So for the traditional carbonara, these are the ingredients. We've got spaghetti, but you can use any type of pasta. I really like spaghetti with a carbonara. And this is for 2 people, so for 2 people you'd be using 250 grams of spaghetti. And then we've got 50 grams of Parmesan cheese. You could also use pecorino, which is a sheep's cheese, but I prefer Parmesan. And then we've got 3 free-range eggs. Now the eggs, you would use 2 full eggs and 1 egg yolk. Now, some people prefer to use 1 full egg and 2 egg yolks. It depends what your preference is. I'm actually going to use 1 full egg and 2 egg yolks because I've got a daughter who's a little bit sensitive to egg white. So, and the egg yolk makes it a little bit creamier and more golden in texture and colour, which is lovely. And then we've got 100 grams of cubed pancetta. This is smoked pancetta, but you could have unsmoked, and if you don't have pancetta, you could also use bacon. Either smoked or unsmoked bacon is fine. And then we'll be using a little drizzle of olive oil, some salt for the cooking water, and black pepper for the actual dish. Okay, so this is literally one of the quickest, easiest dishes that you will prepare, and you've probably got most of these ingredients in your fridge and home already, so it's a fantastic go-to, easy, tasty, nutritious dish. So first of all, what I've got here is a pan of boiling water. Now when the water comes up to the boil, I'm going to add a tablespoon or a dessert spoon of salt. So that wants to be salty. Make sure that the water is boiling before you add your pasta, and also check the cooking time of your pasta. Every pasta differs, especially from your egg pasta to your durum wheat pasta. The time that it takes to cook can differ vastly, and it makes a massive difference to the enjoyment of the meal. I like to have my pasta al dente, so I like it to have a little bit of bite in between the pasta when I bite down in between my teeth. This particular spaghetti takes 13 minutes to cook. It's quite a long time. A lot of spaghettis take 8 minutes. So what I'm going to do is put half of this packet in here for 2 people, and I'm going to check it and bring it out of the water after 11 minutes rather than 13 minutes. That's because I'm going to finish the rest of the cooking in the frying pan. So I'm bringing it out just before it's cooked. So, sorry about that. So I'm taking half of the spaghetti out, twist it and drop it in, and then you just push it down into the water. So if you're cooking for 4 people, you need a little bit more water, possibly a slightly bigger pan. In the meantime, I've got a little knob of butter in the frying pan. I'm just going to put that on the heat, and I'm also going to add a little drizzle of olive oil. Now the butter allows me to bring the pancetta up to a high temperature without it burning, and the olive oil gives it a nice flavour and glossy consistency. So bring that up to heat, just give this a stir, make sure it's not sticking. So when the oil and the butter is just starting to bubble, that's when I'll add the pancetta or bacon, whichever you've got. You can hear that sizzling away. Brilliant. And whilst that's frying, I'm going to do the eggs. Okay, so now I'm going to prepare the eggs. So as I say, I'm going to use 1 full egg and 2 egg yolks. And these are free-range eggs. I like to use free-range eggs. There we go. The fresh fresher the eggs, the better for this dish. Right, so then we're going to add the Parmesan cheese into the egg mixture. And whisk it all together. A little bit of black pepper. There we go. And let's just give this pancetta a little stir. Excellent. Okay, so we'll wait until around 11 minutes cooking time, and then I'll check the pasta, and then we'll finish the rest of the dish then. So whilst the spaghetti's cooking, just keep an eye on your pancetta, make sure that that doesn't burn, because you might want to turn that off for a little minute or two just whilst that spaghetti's cooking. Yep. All right, so the pasta said 13 minutes cooking time. I'm going to check it now at 11 minutes. And the way I do that is just take a piece out, and now that's still got a bite, but too much of a bite, so it's nearly ready for me. So what we're going to do is take some of this cooking water, this salty, starchy cooking water, and add it to the pancetta. That's 1.5 ladles. And just let that heat up a little bit. So the reason we do this, we add the salty, starchy cooking water because that is what gives the pasta the lovely glossy, creamy texture with the egg and the parmesan, without adding cream. You don't need to add cream with this dish. So that is called la mantecatura. And then what we'll do, we'll test this pasta again. That's just about right. So I'd say we're at 12 minutes there. So before I drain the pasta, I'm going to take out a little bit more cooking water in a cup, just in case there's not enough water in the dish when I put it all together. I can always add a little bit more of this. It's like liquid gold, that cooking water to Italian chefs. Okay, I'm going to drain the pasta. So we've drained the water off the spaghetti, and we're going to add the spaghetti into the pan where the pancetta is. Okay. So we're giving it a stir again to help it release those starchy enzymes from the spaghetti, which will help give it a lovely glossing, creamy texture. So now what I've done, which is really important, is I've turned the heat off, and I've done this before I add the egg. The reason for this is we don't want scrambled egg. What happens is the heat from the pasta and the pan cooks the egg without actually having the heat on underneath it. So we've got the eggs with the parmesan. I'm going to add that. Going to add that to the spaghetti, and then we'll give it a stir. So that consistency for me is about right. I don't think it needs any more water, but if you wanted to add some more water, if it was a bit dry, you've got the cooking water from the pan, you could just add a little bit more of that. I think this is a nice creamy consistency. Just show you that. So this is ready to serve. We eat it straight away, and we'll just serve it. And, oop. A little bit of the pancetta. Much more black pepper. A little bit more parmesan. Okay. Spaghetti alla carbonara ready in 13 minutes. Enjoy.